So in this video I will be drawing some internet memes, some anime panels, some panels but not from anime but instead of video games, some more anime panels and some random stuff because why not? So why not to start right away? Right now I'm drawing the a scene from Dan Da Dan, and if you have not seen the show, it is weird. Yes, it is peak. Yes. Is it is it worth watching? Absolutely. Anyway, so this is the scene in which Ira realized who is Acrobatic Silky's backstory is and how much they both have in common. Like Acrobatic Silky has lost his her daughter and Arya has lost her mother, so and then she embraces her in the final moments when Acrobatic Silky gave away her own life in order to save Arya. But anyways, so while drawing the scene, I will acknowledge that Ira's body proportions are a bit messed up, and her legs are a bit weird than they should be. But other than that, I think the entire structure looks rather nice. For the acrobatic Silky, her body is crumbling down correctly. The one mistake which I will admit is that I could have done a bit more of a detailed work on her body getting crumbled apart. But other than that, I have no difficulty drawing this entire figurine. I will say that my sketching is actually improving because I do entire thing in a single sitting with no guidelines or whatsoever, just pen and markers, no pencils, no eraser, no second trials. Is it is what it is. Anyway, the hatching was actually rather simplistic. There was no difficulty. I just used my marker in order to do some major shadows, and this is how it came out to be. I hope you like it. Next up, this is the scene from the very viral shot right now, or maybe a 1 to 2 minute viral video of this weird song in which Dr. Egghead and his father are dancing together in homage funk. For some reason, this thing got viral, but then again, it looks dope, and it just made me realize that they both together look like airbags. I should have not said that. I should have not said that at all. Anyway, while drawing Dr. Rajad, it was not difficult. His body structure was simple, and I decided to do some modifications from my own side and simplify the entire design because the details and the colors were a bit too much of a hassle for me. I decided to start by his legs, the most prominent feature in his entire body. Then I drew his main torso, his arm, his jacket, and then his leg. The difficult part here was his mustache because I want to make it clear, I want to make it pronounced, I want to make it really stand out because Dr. Egghead and his mustache are like just way too iconic to mess up. Then came up with his eyes and goggles. Goggles was surprisingly weird because yeah, they are tiny, they are small, blah blah blah, but at the same time I need to make sure that they are easily visible and all. Other than that, I decided to use my marker once again to do all the shading and all the coloring in the legs, his pants to be specific. And because his lab coat is actually red in color and it's very bright, I decided to not use my sketching and just use simple line work in order to show some amount of shadows. As for his sleeves, I showed a bit more of a shadow because I want to make a little bit of contrast and want it to stand out a little bit because of the entire dynamic pose he's doing. Anyway, the eyes were also a lot easier, and then I started to draw his father, and again, not that difficult. The one problem which I will admit is that I accidentally occupied a bit too much space with Dr. Egghead, so his father needed to be squeezed in whatever remains of the space, and because of which his pose was not even that dynamic. You might think, hey, there is an entire strip. Well, this is a sketchbook, and that strip is the amount of paper which will remain. In the sketchbook there is a little thin margin of sort from which you can clip away your paper in order to hang it on the floor or anything else. Yeah, it is that one. Anyway, I started with his leg, did his lab coat. Again, his lab coat was white in color as it should be as a scientist, so I don't need to do anything major. For the inside of his shirt, they were black in color, so I used my marker once again. And I will say again, the mustache was a little bit too difficult because unlike Dr. Egghead, his father is having a grey color mustache. So I need to make sure that it actually looks good, it actually looks grey, but I already use grey color because I don't have any color palette available. I'm only doing in black and white and shades of grey, 50 shades of grey. Anyway, so I decided to not ink his mustache and leave it as it is. I did some basic line work in order to show some detail, depth and folds of the clothing, folds of his lab coat, lab coat. Is that how you said? I really need to do some work on pronunciation. Anyway, then I drew his shoes. This shoes was also not having any sort of major details, so it was easy. And overall, I will say that I could have done a bit better work with the entire sketch, because I gave Dr. Egghead a bit too much of a space, and now his father don't have that much of a space. Anyway, this is how the entire thing came out to be, and I hope you like it. Next up, if you are not familiar with the Indian internet server, then take it like this. The creature, I'm drawing the rather popular creature from Indian servers. To be specific, the entire thing was inspired by what that Italian brain rot. So, if you're not familiar, then by the time Italian brain rot was going on all across the world, in India there was another type of brain rot which was going on, other than the orange brain rot that 90% of the population is doing anyway. The new kind of brain rot that was going on in India is Bengali brain rot. Yeah, Bengali brain rot. Is that how we say it? Anyway, and one of the creatures one in the Bengali brain rot is Hattimantutan. I don't know what. I don't know why. Why? It sounds Assamese. It is a Bengali brain rot and it is in India. The head is of that of a white person, is of that of a person, and it has horns of a goat, teeth like a devil, and body like a chicken with feet like a duck. I don't know what the hell is it. Like Bengali people, if you are watching, like Bangla people, if you are watching this, please explain what is Hattamatitan. Anyway, drawing it was not that difficult at all. It was rather fun, and the entire music of Hattamatitan Para that was bloody hilarious. Not gonna lie. So this is how the entire project came out to be, and I hope you like the way it is. I have enjoyed it a lot thoroughly. Not gonna lie. Next up, I decided to draw this manga panel because obviously, what were you thinking? No? There will be a manga panel in videos from now on. So this is the manga panel from Chainsaw Man in which Genji in his full devil mood is walking towards the war devil, and this panel was pure aura for me. Like pure aura farming. The engine stocks were literally off the roof when this chapter came out. Anyway, I'm forgetting the number. Damn it. Anyways, I start by drawing the basic sketch of Denji, the basic outlines and all. Then I decide to draw the War Devil Ira, and then I realized that I made her legs a bit too small, so I bumped her up a little bit and increased the size of her assets. I cannot show the assets on the top because she is standing back, so you know which assets I'm going to show. Anyway, use my marker and do some basic sketch, basic hatching in order to show depth and detail, the folds of the cloth. Then I start doing the details in Denji. His chainsaws were a bit difficult, but fortunately, because of the lighting and the shadow, most of his body was inside a shadow, and I didn't need to do that much. Now, you might agree that now I will agree that Denji in general has a very simplistic and nice design. It's not as overcrowded at all, but the little details of the hatches, the panels, and all do really get into my nose. Then I start drawing the entire street across which he was walking, not watching, walk, and it was a pain in the ass. Like I'm not gonna lie, I hate when I need to draw all those buildings and all, because the entire sketching and sketching and doing all the things, the windows, the way the shadow is, the detail, the footpath, and then all. So I just simplify the entire thing, and this is how it came out to be. Now I do like the way it came out to be, but I will say I could have done a better work with the buildings, but then again it was a bit too much of a hassle, so I just leave it the way it is. Next up I decided to draw this panel. Now this is not an official pic, but one of the fans of the Jujutsu Kaisen made this hilarious family photo of Yuji and his entire family, and when I say entire family, I do mean his entire family. His very loving and caring Uncle Sukuna, the god of blessings and happiness and kindness, his evil grandpa who died with his entire mafia, his totally normal father who was very kind and generous person, Kenjaku, definitely not a corpse, Kenjaku, and his late brothers and Choso. I accidentally dropped the mic like that, but anyway, Choso and rest of the dead paintings. So while drawing, I started with Kenjaku because obviously, it is funny. Anyway, then make the basic sketch of Yuji, and then I do the basic sketch for Chosu. Then I start doing the details on Chosu, made some glasses for some orbs for the dead paintings. Then make the basic outline of Yuji's very evil grandpa. Yeah, then I did some detail on Kenjaku, then I decided to stop it right there after the arm and start to do some details on Yuji, and then I do some details on Chosu. Then in the background I decide to draw the god of blessings and kindness, Yuji's very loving uncle Sukuna, who definitely has no problem with Yuji and really likes him for sure, right? Right, chat? I don't know what the hell I'm even saying right now, but anyways, I guess I got lobotomized by the lobotomy Kaizen at this point, or the agenda Kaizen. He understand me. I started to I started to do some details on Sukuna, did his tattoos, and then I start to do genital Dori. And if you don't know, Jin is the father of Yuji. And I hope if you are familiar with the Jujutsu Kaisen fan base, then you should know about this. But anyway, after doing some basic shape for Jin, I start to do some details, his jacket, his clothes, his high neck, etc. Then I decide to draw the late brothers of Yuji, which for some reason he killed. I mean, why I'm saying some reason, he didn't even knew that the dead paintings are his brother. But anyway, one mistake which I did while drawing the remaining two brothers of Yuji is that there was not enough of space to draw them, so I need to cram both of them up in as less of a space as possible. But hey, because of this, it looks like that they both are like spirits who are haunting in the photo, which does make sense because they both are now dead. And I also didn't do too much of a shading in them, so they are a lot more paler than rest of the cast, and so is Jin Itadori, but still he still has a bit more of a bolder lines. But yeah, all the characters which are already dead, that is Jin, Yuji's brother, the dead paintings, they are a lot paler. So yeah, that shit is to make sure to you can know that these characters are no longer with us. As for his grandpa, I should have done it, but then again he does not have too much of color anyways, and so I did start doing the details in rest of the hollow painting, dead paintings. Why I'm saying hollow paintings? Anyways, after doing the remaining detail on the dead paintings, this is the way it came out to be. And also I tried to do the floor, but then I realized it will be a bit too congested, so I decided not to do the floor. But till that point, I have already done the reflection of the floor in on the glasses, the vases, or whatever you want to call it, inside which the dead paintings were. So yeah. Then I did the basic details in every of them, and this is the way it came out to be, and I hope like it. Well, that is all for today, guys, and I hope you like all these sketches. Let me know in the comments what should I draw next, and I will see you next time. Take care, goodbye, drink water, and